So yeah, and the fourth reason you should not get into debt is something called as black swan events. Okay, yeah, this is also like related to the future uncertainty. But what do you what is meant by black swan event is that like something that is like totally unpredictable and something that is also totally unimaginable, or it is like called as unknown unknowns. Okay, what is known unknowns means that you know that you do not know something, uh, right? Something that is predictable, something that you can imagine, and something that you could account for. Those are known unknowns. Okay, for example, let's say you work in a factory. Okay, let's like assume, and that you don't know how to cook. Okay, that is a known unknown. Cooking is something you don't know, and you know that you don't know cooking, so that is a known unknown. Okay, unknown unknowns are something that you don't know that you don't know. Okay, yeah, I think the it like gets complicated very quickly. uh, yeah, so example for a black swan event is like this is the most cited example, I think. It is the 9/11 terrorist attacks, okay, on the World Trade Center in US. Like nobody could have even imagined, nobody could have obviously could not even have predicted such kind of an event. So that becomes a black swan event, unknown unknowns. Okay, so this is like one of the risk of in the future. Okay, there could be some black swan events that like totally hinder your ability to pay back the debt, and you could get trapped into the debt. Like yeah, like even losing your job is a known unknown, right? It is not a black swan event, but even then you are still having that risk, right? You could lose your job, or something disastrous can happen, or you could meet with an accident. I mean, I don't want you to suffer from all of these, but I'm just saying it could happen, right? So yeah, these are not black swan events, but yeah, there are other uncertain things that can happen. So like, so you should not be levered. Like debt is what's called as leverage, right? So you should not take on too much leverage because there is a lot of risk with uncertainty. Yeah, there is a book, and that's how this term black swan became so popular. There's a book by the same name, Black Swan. And like even if you cannot read the book, at least like go and check out the summary on YouTube. If possible, I'll link a book summary of it in the description, and do check it out. Yeah, let's say like if you are going to a job and you have taken some debt, okay, maybe for a home loan or something. uh, you had taken a debt, and something did not go as planned. Okay, like they cut off your salary. Uh, they reduced, if your company reduced your salary, or like you are on the edge of being fired. So a lot of people have been fired in your company, and you are at the small, like the edge of being fired. So obviously it is going to cause a extreme stress on you. It takes a very big toll on you, right? And of course you will be working super hard uh, in your job, but still you will be getting like uh, less salary, and so on. Like what debt does, right? It like debt is not uh, something which only has advantages. Like it also comes with its own disadvantages. uh, Sorry. So what happens, like many people fail to acknowledge the disadvantages, because those disadvantages are going to come in the future, right? Who wants to care about the future? We just want money now. at the present, right? Yeah, so what happens is it limits your ability to take other better decisions in your life. Like, yeah, uh, I have worked at a factory. I have worked in the factory, and I have seen many people like struggle a lot, like to just to save their job. Right? I was like, because I did not have any like much debt, I was like, I don't care about the job. If they want to fire me, I'll let them fire me right now. I'll happily go to home. I don't care. That's how chill I was. I did not care, and I had zero stress about uh, having a job. Yeah, because of course my father is working, but even apart from that, like the level of debt will really, really add to your stress, and the stresses, like it definitely reaches a breaking point when you are at the edge, or if you have actually been fired from your job. And many people actually, uh, maybe I don't know I should say this or not, like many people have actually committed suicides because they cannot pay off their debt and they could not bear the stress and the torture that comes with it. Yeah, so that is what I want you to avoid. Like if you cannot avoid, at least consider the uh, yeah, consider all the disadvantages that comes with taking on debt, right? Because the banks are never going to tell you, the lenders are never going to tell you the disadvantages. They will only paint a rosy picture. They will only say the advantages, and like you will be left out from half of the true story. Half the, like, there is a proverb, right? Half the truth is always a whole lie. So that is what happens with you, right? So that is what you need to avoid. Yeah, and there is also like a another factor called confirmation bias that comes into play. So let's suppose 100 people have taken on debt, okay, and 50 people of them succeed in like whatever they've taken the debt for. Suppose, yeah, I'm definitely saying about good debt. 100 people have taken good debt, okay, that is to buy an income generating asset. For 50 people, they succeed, and other 50 people, like, they fail in generating sufficient income to pay back their debt. And these 50 people, right, like they had taken debt and they generating more income than they have to pay off their debt, so they are like successful. So the other 50 are unsuccessful. So just consider what happens now, right? Those 50 people who are successful, right, they will go around the, like, village or town boasting about themselves. Oh, look at this, I taken debt, I had taken debt, so I could purchase this asset, so now this is generating this much income, and that this, and they'll like go on boasting around the neighborhood. And what about the other 50 people who has actually failed? They will keep silent, they'll keep mum, because they're ashamed, right? Because they don't want to tell you that they failed. Nobody wants to share their failure, right? Everyone wants to boast about their success. Like that is the tendency we have as humans. So this is what results in a confirmation bias. So the third person, okay, so the, like, let's say 101st person who has still not taken debt and he is considering to take on debt, he will look at the 50 people who are like roaming around the neighborhood boasting about their debt. They will never hear about the 50 people who have failed by taking the debt and now they are suffering from it, right? Nobody will, like, most of them will not hear about them. They will only hear about those who are like out there boasting about themselves, right? So what sorry, so what will the third person think? He will obviously think that debt is wonderful, you can like do so many good things with it, okay, and combined with the marketing and advertising of the lenders, right? So this becomes even a bigger feedback loop. Yeah, Yeah, and the next thing is, many people say that saving money, okay, if you don't want to get into debt, then you have to save money to buy whatever you want to buy, right? But saving money to buy stuff, right, it takes time. It takes many years to save up what you want to buy. So by the time you have like finished saving up what you wanted to buy, okay, because of inflation, your money will be like will the worth of your money gets reduced. It becomes less due to the inflation, and due to the same inflation, the price of the goods or the assets which you wanted to purchase, right? The price of those assets would have gone up, right? So this is like a classical problem most of the people have with debt. So what can we do instead of taking debt? It's just not possible without uh, taking taking on debt, right? So yeah, and this is true. Like I don't have any argument like to debunk this, or I to say against this. But what has happened is that's how it is right now, right? Or I think that's how the system has been designed from the start. So obviously the system also wants you to take on debt, right? And you should not fall for it. That's it. I don't know like what to say about it. Like what something that might help if you are considering saving instead of taking debt is that you could consider investing the money that you are actually saving, so that it could like grow at a uh, grow at some rate, so that it could like slightly reduce the slightly offset the inflation, okay, with its returns. And yeah, one more thing is like if it takes really many years to save up, uh, by the time you could have been like very old, so that you will not enjoy whatever you wanted to buy in the first place. uh, yeah, this is like uh, same thing with I don't know literally what to tell about this. It is true, it could be true, uh, but still I don't want to get into debt which like I had to pay off until I become old or something like that. Just so that I wanted to have something now, and which I will not be enjoying after I finished saving up for it. uh, yeah, I think like obviously you will just have to look at all the factors and decide by yourself, right? Yeah, and the happiness you get right from like not getting into debt, saving the money you actually want to buy, uh, I mean saving the money and then buying the stuff, that will give you like so much more happiness than the like momentary pleasure due to the like dopamine kick you get due to debt, due to taking on debt and buying something new, new stuff, like that happiness, like happiness from saving and the pleasure from debt, like when you compare both of these, like I would obviously say the happiness you get from saving, like that is very like that is just much more valuable than the momentary pleasure you get due to debt, right? And this uh, debt becomes addictive, right? Then you will want to take on more debt, and then you want to like take on more, buy more stuff, so it becomes a addiction, and it leads you a downward spiral. So yeah, but with saving you cannot do so, because obviously you can only save this much, given that much amount of time, given a fixed amount of time. Okay, and the yeah, that is what happens. Debt makes you an addict, and saving develops a self-discipline and self-control. Right? That is what saving helps you achieve in your life. And with debt, you actually lose your self-discipline, you lose your self-control, and you become an addict. Okay, I mean, not all debt makes you addict, but it does tend to push you in that direction slightly. So you will obviously have to consider these factors and decide by yourself.